In this lesson, we will discuss the format of IELTS Writing Task 2, discuss the key points of the marking scheme. We'll learn about the ecosystem, which I told you already, I think, to nail the marking scheme. Learn some useful sentence structures, learn the structure and plan of a Task 2 essay, and then we will discuss a topic, technological advancement. And finally, we will write a model answer together. So it's going to be quite a lot of things to do in this lesson. This is an example of a past paper of writing task 2. It says you should spend about 40 minutes on the task, and you should write at least 250 words, but you can write much more. If you're good at writing, you can write more within the time limit. It's an argumentative essay where you need to state your opinion, agree, disagree, or neutral, and support it. And sometimes the question has further requirements, like here. It says, what other measures do you think might be effective? So you do have to read the question very carefully. Usually it says something like this: to what extent do you agree or disagree? So that's why it's an argumentative essay with your opinion. Okay, here is the marking scheme. Oh, the boring thing. But this is very important because that's how they mark it. So you have to make sure you meet all these requirements. And you can see these words, look: well supported, well developed, cohesive, logical, and you need to use a wide range of structures. So all of these things are important. And that's why I thought about how to do it, and I created the ecosystem, which helps you to nail the marking scheme. It helps you do all these things: be well supported, well developed, cohesive, logical, and use a wide range of structures. Okay, so who knows what E, C, and O stand for? I told you before, right?
I know.
What is it then, random creature?
Evidence, consequence, opinion.
Yes, evidence, consequence, opinion. We start with evidence, not like, some teachers have told you the PEE method. Well, this is not very good in my opinion, because you start with your point, but your point should come from the evidence, in my opinion. This is how it should be. You start with a fact and you lead logically from the fact to your conclusion. This is how to write logically. And that's why I think ECO is better than PEE. So evidence, you start your body paragraphs with a fact or a statistic. And because it's an exam, you're not going to go on Google and find data. So you have to think about something that you know is true. You're sure it's true. So a fact could be something like, smartphones have many learning apps. This is a fact, right? So you don't need to prove it. Everybody knows that's true. So it should be something that everybody knows is true. That's the start of your body paragraph. This means that this will help you support your writing, because evidence supports your point. And then you need to give the consequence of this fact, okay? So I said, everyone knows that smartphones have a lot of learning apps. And then you can say, as a consequence, a smartphone can help you learn in many ways, right? So consequence leads from evidence. This is logical because consequence is actually a logical word, right? If you've ever learned about logic, you've got something like A implies B, right? A is the cause and B is the consequence. So this is actually, the word consequence is a logical word, right? You can write this as if A then B, the same thing. Okay, so consequence forces you to be logical, and that's one of the words in the marking scheme. And it will help you be cohesive, and it will help you support and develop. And the last one is opinion, because you need to develop your argument, and you need to use your opinion because it's in the question that you need to state your stance and if you agree or disagree, to what extent. Okay, so this is further develops your answer. So we've got ECO, evidence, consequence, opinion. Oh, here's some arrows. So here's some useful vocabulary for ECO, for evidence, consequence, opinion. For evidence, you could say data suggests according to blah, blah, blah. It is undeniable that, or statistics show. You don't have to use these, but you can use these. Or just state an obvious fact. You don't have to use clever words for this part, okay? Consequence, you can say as a consequence, consequently, as a result. This means that, in turn, or as such. These are all logical structures for sentences. This helps you use a wide range of structures. Don't use the same one in both body paragraphs. Use two different ones. An opinion, you can say, for this reason I believe. In turn, it can be argued that. So it's reasonable to suggest, or as such many argue that. All of these and many more are how to express your opinion, but you'll notice that I used for this reason, in turn, so, or as such, because this means that everything follows from here to here, right? And this follows to here. That's helping you be cohesive, right? Helping you be cohesive, which is one of the things in the marking scheme. So now you know how to use ECO. Here's the structure and plan of task 2. First, you paraphrase the question. Who knows what paraphrase means? Paraphrase. Okay, random creature. Do you know what paraphrase means?
No.
Oh, okay, none of you know. Okay, so paraphrase means write in your own words. Write in your own words. Okay, clearly, to show you understand, right? So if I said something like, mobile phones are very convenient, how could you paraphrase this? You can still use the word mobile phones, but you need to paraphrase the word convenient. How could you paraphrase that?
Mobile phones will make your life easier.
Yeah, exactly. So if it says convenient in the question, you could say make your life easier in your answer. And this shows that you understand the word convenient and you're not copying the question directly. This is important. You cannot directly copy the question. Okay, you can't directly copy the question. Lewis Hamilton says, bravo, bravo. Okay, so there we go. We're going to paraphrase. We're going to state our stance. That means our side. We're going to tell the reader the plan for this essay. That's it. That's the introduction. Simple. Body paragraph, ECO, evidence, consequence, opinion, and plus examples and explanation. Same for body paragraph 2. And then you've got your conclusion. Summarize without repeating and think about the future and what you think should happen on this topic. Okay, and each of these will have a reason. So here we will have reason 1 and here we will have reason 2. Okay, because it did say that you need to support your answers with reasons, and the reasons should be the topic of each body paragraph. Reason 1, reason 2. So now I think we can actually start writing a real example. So let me share the screen again. So here we go. Here is my worksheet for today. IELTS Writing Task 2, a simple method. So we've got a past paper question. Do you think that technological advancement has brought more harm than good? Use specific reasons and details to support your answer. This is a real past paper, and this is what we're going to learn about today. We're going to think about this today. So let's look at the key words from the question. So first, what is technology? Can you tell me in your own words? Can you paraphrase this?
So we paraphrase the sentence, what is technology?
Or maybe just the word technology first. What is technology?
Devices. With
Yeah, okay,
stuff.
devices. So let's say devices such as, or electronic devices, such as smartphones, iPads, TVs, etc., right? Computers, of course. So I'm going to write a sentence using the word technological. There have been many, I know, the invention of the first iPhone was a technological breakthrough. Okay, it was the first time that a touchscreen phone had been created. So technological breakthrough. Now advance. What does advance mean? It looks like random creature is doing all the talking today.
Advance is to like continue.
Yeah, you could say continue, or get better could be one, or move forward.
Like evolve.
Yeah, evolve could be a word for, yeah, the advancement of animals is evolution, right? That's how animals advance.
I was thinking about Pokemon.
Pokemon, do they advance? Yeah, maybe. I don't know anything about Pokemon, right? Okay, so, okay, the advancement, can you tell me about the advancement Of Pokemon? I don't know about this.
Pichu becomes Pikachu.
Okay, Pichu advances to become Pikachu. Yeah, it makes sense. I don't know if it's true because I never played Pokemon. Okay, do us harm. That's really obvious what it means, right? So what does harm mean?
Like it's the noun of hurt.
Yeah, so but it's not literally hurt, right? It's not like your smartphone keeps hitting
Like
you in the
pain.
head.
Like
Huh?
pain.
Yeah, but not literally. That yeah, literal meaning is pain. But when we don't say smartphones cause pain to us, like, ow, my
Like
arm
they
hurts.
they do bad things to us.
Yeah, exactly. Cause bad effects or results to us. Yeah. So, for example, eating a lot of junk food can do us harm, right? Because it can lead to diseases, right? Do us harm. And what about do us good? Well, you know, the opposite of bad is good.
Cause
So,
good effects.
yes. So, can you give me a sentence using the word do us good? What does us good?
Learning English will do you good.
Right. Learning English will do you good. And also, participating in the lesson does you good too. So that's why Random Creature is learning a lot in this lesson. Okay, will do you good. Yes, I hope learning English will do you good. Okay, so we had to make sure we understood all these words. So what we're saying is, has technological advancement done us more harm or done us more good? Basically, is technology good or bad? That's the simple meaning. But we are talking about how it's advanced. So we're talking about recent changes in technology. So let's briefly discuss the topic. But all we really need is one stance. We need to choose harm or good and two reasons. If I was doing the exam, I would do this bit in like 30 seconds. I would just say good, and then I would say convenient, and then I would say learning, and that's it. That's all I would do, really, convenience and learning. But I could start the essay right now just from this. And in the exam, I would suggest you just pick something quickly. But let's think of some more good and bad things about technology. Can you tell me any or type in the chat if you want?
Might get addicted.
Yes, addiction. This is a great one for harm. So we've got convenience, learning. Addiction is bad. Lewis, can you hear us? I think Lewis might have gone offline.
You can communicate.
Yes, communication. Good one. Lewis, are you there? No. Okay. So convenience, learning, communication. Addiction is a bad thing. Any other bad things? I think they can make us something big.
You could be tricked on the internet.
Ah, yes, scams and other hacking, etc. Right? Yeah. Now I think they can make us something beginning with L. What can they make
You
us?
spell hacking wrong.
Oh, hazing. Thank you. They can make us
Lazy.
Yeah, not ladies, right? They can make us lazy. For example, kids just Google everything. They don't think. They don't think anymore. If you have a debate topic, people just Google the question, find the answers, and write the answer, and they don't think. So it can be a negative. Addiction. Things are so fun because the algorithms of Facebook, etc., are designed to make us addicted. So we just want to click more, and it makes us addicted. Scammed and hacking. Yeah, I remember Random Creature. You got your account hacked once, didn't you? By your friend. Was it your friend?
Yes, I don't like that game anymore.
Okay. Anyway, yes. And communication is definitely true. It was definitely true for me when I lived in Hong Kong and my family were in England. And now I live in England and I've got family and friends in Hong Kong. So communication is very useful when we have technology. Well, technology is useful. Communication is easy. So convenience learning. So should we choose good or bad? We're going to write an example. Should we choose good or bad? Which side?
Good.
Okay, so we're going to choose good. And should we choose convenient? We need to choose 2 out of 3.
Actually, no, because do the example as bad so we can do good.
Oh, so you want me to write an example of bad and then you can write good later for homework?
Yes.
Okay.
No, not homework, when we do it together.
Okay. No, I think together we're going to do one essay and then you can write your own for homework. Or do you want to do it right now in the class? I don't think you want to, right? I don't think you want to
Let's
type
do
them.
it in the class.
Okay, we're going to write one. Should we write the bad one together then?
Okay.
Lewis Hamilton said homework. Well, I'm just suggesting that you do some homework because that's how you learn, Lewis, by being active. But in this class, I'm just going to talk through an example with you. So, are we going to choose good or bad? Good or bad?
Bad.
All right, let's do bad. So let's choose addiction and laziness because I think it's difficult to write about scams and hacking. So let's talk about addiction and laziness. So we've got stance, more harm than good. We've got reason 1. What was reason 1? Do you remember? Addiction. We've got reason 2. What was reason 2?
Reason 2 was laziness.
Yes, laziness. Okay, now we need to think of evidence, consequence, and opinion for each of these. Now, I'm going to make up a statistic about addiction, which sounds real. Okay, so according to a survey, I'm going to say survey said, what percentage of people have suffered from addiction to technology? Should we choose a number? Let's choose a number like should we say 50?
20%?
I reckon it might be higher. I think nearly everyone is addicted to smart. I'm just going to say 50% of teenagers, right, addicted. And this doesn't need to be a fact. They're testing our English, not our statistics. So it doesn't matter if it's not correct, as long as it's not stupid. Like we can't write 99, we can't write like 1. We definitely can't write 200%, right? So consequence. What's the consequence of addiction? Oh, I think
we won't get off and be active.
Okay, yeah, so prevents useful action because we're doing this useless thing. A lot of the addictions are useless. Of course, you can have good addictions. Like my brother was addicted to coding when he was a teenager, and that was a great addiction for him. He became a coder. But most people, like me, I was addicted to a game called Yahoo Pool when I was a kid. Yahoo Pool. Let me show you this game. You know about it already. I was addicted to this game. I played this game like 8 hours a day when I was a teenager. And what a waste of time that was. What a massive waste of time. So prevents useful action and my opinion on this. I can write my opinion in the essay. I don't need to plan the opinion. Okay. Now laziness. We need evidence about laziness. Evidence. So, by the way, Lewis thinks 83%. So maybe I'll increase this to like 67. And we're in between.
I think 54 was good. Okay, maybe for teenagers 67, but for everyone, should be quite low.
Depends. Of course, it depends on the definition of addiction, right? Yeah, it depends how addicted you are. Anyway, laziness. Laziness. Can you think of a fact? A fact, or it can be an observation, something you've seen. What have you noticed?
When I finish my homework, I check with the calculator.
Aha, so it's tempting. So we can use personal experience here. Check with the calculator. This is more like examples though. So we use technology to take shortcuts, especially when learning, right? And consequence, what's the consequence of you using the calculator? Actually, checking is not bad, but if you use the calculator to do your homework, what's the consequence of this?
The homework will be useless.
Yeah, you don't learn because you don't learn as much because you're not actually actively learning. You're just using technology to find the answer. You won't learn. And opinion, I can think about that later. So I've got my structure for my essay right now. That's it. That's all I need to plan. So let's write. Let me make this a bit smaller. Now, okay. So do you think that technological advancement has brought us more harm than good? So I need to introduce the topic of technological advancement using different words. And then I need to say, some people think it's good, some people think it's bad. So could you give me do you remember what we said to use instead of technological advancement? Which sentence did we say?
We didn't think of a sentence, but we chose electronic devices, something like that.
Okay, so let's say in the past 2 decades, electronic devices
have taken over our lives.
Okay, good. Taken over our lives. Nowadays what? Nowadays, nearly.
Pretty much everyone has one.
Okay, yeah, everyone has a. Almost everyone has a smartphone, and they are integral to almost every aspect of our lives. In fact, for you two, because you two are young, you've never known a world without smartphones. I'm the most recent generation who had a childhood without a smartphone. So this has dramatically changed. You're both young. I'm like more than double your age, so you're young. You're young to me, right? It's all relative. It's all relative. So when I was a kid, there was no smartphone. So we went out and we ran around, played football, climbed trees, but we didn't use smartphones. I did have a Sega Master System, which is, let me show you what this is. When I was a kid, this was my technology, the Sega Master System, something like this. Oh, amazing graphics. Look at this. Do you want to play this one? This is the tune of this song. I still remember it. Anyway. Yeah, so nowadays almost everyone has a smartphone, and they're integral to almost every aspect of our lives. Some believe what? This advancement. Now I want to paraphrase this. I'm going to say this dramatic advancement. Some believe this dramatic advancement. What? I want to say something like this. Any suggestions?
Has made a bad effect or something.
Yeah, okay. Has negatively, let's say, has negatively impacted us. Others claim. What do others claim?
It is good.
It is good. It is good. Yeah, this is okay, but this is a little bit simple, right? So technology. Technology, what is?
Is a lifesaver.
Okay, I like this word. Nice word. Okay, now that I've paraphrased the question, that's enough about the question. Now I need to state my stance, and my stance is that it's done more harm than good. So I'm going to say I agree with the former stance that technology has done us more harm than good. Now I can repeat the question here. As long as I paraphrase first, I can still use the real words of the question because I've shown that I understand it. But what you can't do is just repeat the question. So this is fine because I've demonstrated understanding. Now I can say technology has done us more harm than good. And I'm going to mention my primary reasons, which are addiction and laziness. Primarily, I believe technology has led to a lazier population vulnerable to addiction. In this essay, I will support this. I will support this stance with examples and evidence. There we go. Done. This is I've stated the stance. I've said what I will do in this essay. Very simple introduction. Okay, how many words is this? This introduction is 84 words. Okay, this is about right. You could write a little bit less or a little bit more, as long as you do all these three things. Okay, so body one, body paragraph one. Now, do you remember what our first reason was?
It was addiction,
Addiction.
I think.
Okay. Now, and my evidence was 67% of teenagers are addicted. Okay, according to a recent survey sampling the responses of, let's say gathering the responses of more than 12,000 students, teenagers, let's say teenagers. 67% of secondary school students aged 13 to 17 have suffered from addiction to technology. Right? This is my evidence. Now, it's not true, but it's fine because in your IELTS you cannot Google, so you have to make something up that sounds reasonable, and I think it sounds reasonable enough. What's the consequence of this? Do you remember the consequence?
They don't do more useful things.
Yeah, so could you write a full sentence mentioning either the word consequence or something like that? Maybe we could look at
Consequence of this is
consequence of this. Good.
How
about the consequence?
or just consequently.
Okay, consequently. Yeah.
We are not productive.
Okay, consequently, these I'm going to use the word productive, but I'm going to make it a little bit more specific. So these students do not maximize their productivity. I'm just making it sound more formal, okay? And may not reach their full potentials. Now, potentials has an S because it's many students, and each student has a potential, so they do not reach their full potentials. That's the consequence. Now, have you ever seen, you can use personal experience, have you ever seen somebody suffer from addiction so that they didn't, or personal yourself, have you ever been so addicted that you didn't do useful things?
I watch a lot of anime.
How many episodes of One Piece did you watch?
Like 1020 or something.
Okay, so I think it's great to use personal experience. So I'm writing from your point of view, right? I myself have suffered from such a, you wouldn't say suffered, you would say enjoyed, but okay, from such addiction. When let's just say suffered from such addiction. When I watched 1020 episodes of One Piece in how many days or hours?
It was a few months.
In just a few.
So maybe
months.
like half a year.
Just a few months. Well, think
like
about
half
this.
A year.
1020 episodes. Clearly, I could have used this time to learn a language. What else? Could you think of 3 things you could have done?
I don't know. I think watching anime is quite helpful. I do learn Japanese a tiny bit, and
yes, but
I don't know.
You know what? If you were arguing the other side, then you can give that example. But you're arguing the bad side, so you don't have to tell the whole truth, but you have to give a bad side. So you want to pretend that you hated, that this ruined your life, right? You're writing. You're not telling the truth. You're giving an example that
Let's pretend I failed my exam.
Clearly, okay.
Because I
to learn a
didn't
language,
study
harder. Study harder for exams, or do sports, right? That's examples. That's an example anyway.
I don't like sports.
I don't like sports. So, in fact, I believe my exam results suffered, and I am not alone. Are many of your friends also addicted to technology?
I have a friend called Alessandra, and she likes playing games.
Don't drop her
Like
name. Don't name drop.
Genshin Impact.
Okay, so many of my friends, I'm not going to say Alessandra, right? Many of my friends have suffered, have experienced similar addiction. And a common struggle for parents revolves around managing their children's technology usage. Some claim, now I want to say something about the positive side and then I want to rebut it. Zhao in 12 pulls. I don't know what that means. Random creature. Zhao in 12 pulls. Do you know what that means, Jenny? Oh no, that's you. You are random.
Yeah, that is me.
Oh, you guys are talking about Genshin Impact.
Yes.
Stop chatting about Genshin Impact in the chat. Oh my god. Look at this. You see, even in this lesson, you're suffering from the addiction of technological advancement. You're not even listening to Mr. Greenwood because you're addicted. You're so addicted that even during a lesson, even when you're in a lesson, you are writing in the chat. Some claim that technology is a valuable learning tool. This is the other side, right? And while this has the potential to be true, it seems that most of us use our devices for mundane and useless tasks. So this is like a rebuttal sentence. Okay, I'm rebutting. I get my UID real quick. Oh my god. Stop it, guys! Stop it!
And we can
Even
be
right
friends
now.
on Genshin Impact.
Even right now. I want to write even right now. You losers are chatting about useless games. No, I'm not going to write this though, because this is bad for an essay, so delete. Now my opinion. So I want to use one of these words. So it is reasonable to suggest this seems too formal. For this reason, I believe is quite clear. For this reason, I believe. For this reason, I believe that in terms of productivity, technological advancement has done more harm than good. There we go. So that's body paragraph 1. Nice and long. 162. So we've already written 240. We're only halfway through, so it's going to be much longer. But I think it's reasonable to write like this in the essay if you get fast at writing. Okay. Right, body paragraph 2. Body paragraph 2. What's the topic of body paragraph 2?
It's
Guys.
laziness.
Yes, laziness. Oh my god. I can use you as an example for this one. Random creature. Okay, laziness. Right. Evidence. Okay. I'm going to go back to the learning tools. Smartphones and computers have many apps which help us learn, such as calculators, search engines, and dictionaries, right? Although a dictionary isn't going to make you lazy.
Dictionary isn't bad.
Yeah, true.
We use dictionaries at school.
True. So what's another thing that could lead to something bad? Make us lazy, because I want to use 3, the rule of 3. If you use 3 things in a sentence, it sounds better than 2. So calculators, search engines, and let's say which help us, which improve convenience, such as calculators,
Google
search
Maps.
engines, and maps. Yes.
Google Maps.
Yes. Now, why am I mentioning maps? Because these 3 things can all lead to laziness, right? As a consequence. Now, what did I say last time? I said consequently. So, yeah. As a consequence.
What about
Let's say
what
as a
was it
result, because I don't want to say consequence. As a result, we save time and energy. However, I want negative consequence.
However, we don't learn those things ourselves.
Yeah, these convenient apps can lead to laziness. Take the above 3 examples of apps, of convenient apps. Okay, now I'm going to give examples right here. A calculator can be a shortcut for a child's maths homework. What can be the negative of search engines?
They're great.
Negative. Like, if you imagine okay, when I was a kid, if I prepared for a debate, I had to think, I had to talk, maybe talk to my mum, talk to my dad, think about the topic, think about as many answers as I could, and this is a skill that I was developing in my brain. But if you just Google it, the only skill you're developing is Googling, right? So a search engine can prevent us from thinking deeply as we choose to search. I don't want to say deeply, I want to say originally. As we search for the views of others and paraphrase them as our own. I hate it when, you know what I hate? I hate it when students copy and paste a section from the internet and they change a few words. And you know what? Sometimes the font is even like wrong. Like it doesn't even match. Like they copy something and it's in the middle of their writing. It's just like Comic Sans. All right, this is, as a teacher, I hate this stuff. Or I'm a private tutor, right? And I taught a student about a debate topic. And she said, I've got this debate topic. I said, okay, what do you think about it? And she immediately got her phone and Googled the topic. Come on, guys. Use your brain. Use your brain. Okay. And the last example was Google Maps. Okay. 20 years ago, most drivers knew their hometowns like the back of their hands. Have you heard this phrase before?
Yes.
But nowadays,
I don't know the back of my hand that well.
Yeah, I know it's a rubbish analogy, but people use it. But nowadays, we merely follow an arrow with no active thought regarding the route. All of these convenient apps lead to the same result: laziness. Now I want a rebuttal. I want to say something positive. Okay, many say, did I say many last time? I said some, so many would argue that this convenience saves valuable time. But
time is money.
and time is money, but we're not going to support them, we're going to go against them. But I disagree. Well, I don't disagree with that because that's true, right? Mm-hmm. But I believe this extra time
isn't as important.
Is often used for idle activities, such as binge watching 24 episodes of your favorite Netflix show.
I don't watch Netflix.
Okay. Opinion. Let's finish with my opinion. Oh, this was my opinion, actually. This was my opinion. But I want to summarize. I want to, just like I said here, more harm than good. The above demonstrates why I maintain that technology has had the net effect of a lazier population. Did I use the word population already? I think I did, right? Okay. Of a lazy community. There we go. Body 2 finished. Body 2 finished. So now let's go to the conclusion. Conclusion. Everyone can do the conclusion in their own way. So there's no special magic way to write a conclusion. As long as you summarize, but you don't repeat. Summarize in a different way. So paraphrase your own writing, right? And then think of a theme. What's the theme? I think laziness and addiction both have a theme. They're both to do with what? What are laziness and addiction both to do with?
Causing more harm than good.
Yes, but that's not really rewording. I'm just using the question. But they're both something to do with our brains, right? I think they're both to do with us becoming passive instead of active. This is going to be my theme. You know what passive and active mean? Passive and active, do you know?
Yes.
So passive is like you just watch something, you chill, you listen to music, you lie down and I don't know, whatever. But active, even reading a book could be semi-passive.
No, passive is the music is listened to by you.
No, not the passive voice. Passive person, right? And active is more like you do something, you write something, you get up, you get about, you produce things. So the theme of this essay seems to be that technology has led to an increase in passive actions and a decrease in active productivity.
You use productivity twice.
Okay, in active, I don't want to say actions, in active work, that'll do.
Yes.
Active and stimulating work. While these devices may give us short-term happiness, pleasure, and relaxation, the long-term effects that come from laziness and addiction can be damaging. So, and what do I think for the future? However, this essay is about the past. I do not believe that technology has to remain a negative force in our lives. I have optimism for a future where we learn to use the power of artificial intelligence, and software to improve our functionality as humans. I believe this powerful tool can eventually make us happier and better than ever. So I'm ending with a positive twist. The past, because the question was about the past. Right? Has it brought more harm than good? But it doesn't ask about the future, but I can conclude by saying, hey, even though I think it's bad right now, I think it's going to be good in the future. So summary, future, done. So this was my example. Now, of course, I wouldn't expect you to write in the exact same way, but how many words have I written? I've written 521, so it's about double the marking scheme. I think we did it within 40 minutes. So it is possible to write an essay just like this yourself. And I suggest for homework, either you choose a question from here. Can you see this? You can choose any question from here. We've got education, globalization, equality, environment, technology, transport, health. And then choose a stance, choose 2 reasons, and write. Or write the other side of this question. Technology is good. Now the funny thing is, now that I've written that essay, I suddenly believe technology is bad. You don't have to do the homework. It's suggested.
It didn't sway me.
It's suggested. This is just for your own learning. I don't care if you do it. I don't care if you do it. But it's good for you, right? It's good for you. Just like I don't care if you eat vegetables tonight or if you go and eat 10 cheeseburgers. That's your choice. Except Jenny, it's not your choice. I mean, oops, random animal. It's not your choice. I dropped your name. I'm going to do that. Oh, Lewis Hamilton says he's going to do it. Okay, so I should proofread this now. Shall I proofread it? Let's read it. In the past 2 decades, electronic devices have taken over our lives. Nowadays, almost everyone has a smartphone, and they're integral to almost every aspect of, you see, I don't want to say our lives again, so of living. There we go. Some believe this dramatic advancement has negatively impacted us. Others claim technology is a lifesaver. I agree with the former stance that technology has done us more harm than good. Primarily, I believe technology has led... I can just say it. You see, when I proofread, I can see the flow better because I read fast. When I was writing slowly. So it's important to proofread even if you're good at writing. Okay. Primarily, I believe it has led to a lazier population vulnerable to addiction. In this essay, I will support this stance with examples and evidence. According to a recent survey gathering with the responses of more than 12,000 teenagers, 67% of secondary school students aged 13 to 17 have suffered from addiction to technology. Consequently, these students do not maximize their productivity and may not reach their full potentials. I myself suffered from such addiction when I watched 1,020 episodes of One Piece in just a few months. Clearly, I could have used this time to learn a language, study harder for exams, or do sports. In fact, I believe my exam results suffered and I am not alone. Many of my friends have experienced similar addiction, and a common struggle for parents revolves around managing their children's technology usage. Some claim that technology is a valuable tool, and while this has the potential to be true, it seems that most of us use our devices for mundane and useless tasks. For this reason, I believe that in terms of productivity, technological advancement has done more harm than good. Done. Smartphones and computers have many apps which improve convenience, such as calculators, search engines, and Google Maps. As a result, we save time and energy. However, these convenient apps can lead to laziness. Take the above 3 examples of convenient apps. A calculator can be a shortcut for a child's maths homework. A search engine can prevent us from thinking originally. You know what? I don't even think I need to type that bit. Too much information. 20 years ago, most drivers knew their hometowns like the back of their hands. But nowadays, we merely follow an arrow with no active thought regarding the route. All of these convenient apps lead to the same result, laziness. Many would argue that this convenience saves valuable time, but I believe this extra time is often used for idle activities such as binge watching 24 episodes of your favorite Netflix show. The above demonstrates why I maintain that technology has had the net effect of a lazier community. The theme of this essay, maybe not seems to be, is that technology has led to an increase in passive actions and a decrease in active and stimulating work. While these devices may give us short-term happiness, pleasure, and relaxation, the long-term effects that come from laziness and addiction can be damaging. However, this essay is about the past. I do not believe that technology has to remain a negative force in our lives. I have optimism for a future where we can learn to use power of artificial intelligence and software to improve our functionality as humans. I believe this powerful tool can eventually make us happier and better than ever. Yeah, fine. That's fine, done. I'm happy with that. If I was doing this exam, I would be quite confident that I'm going to get a good mark. So, do you have any questions? Give me a question. No? No question. Okay. All right, then that's it. So, feel free to write task 2, example for homework.